Alright, I'm currently printing on my Ender 3 right now. It's right here. It's going to be the torso of the RoboCop model, and this is, of course, the head. And one thing about it, in this particular case, I wanted to be able to print the entire model without supports, okay? And printing it all in one piece I would be forced to have supports under the chin, possibly under the eye cover here. This is the eye shield there, or back here behind the head itself would need supports as well. So I wanted to be able to print it without any support. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove the head, print that separately. This is the neck collar right here. It's also going to be printed separately and will be glued right here. It will be placed inside the torso, okay, to lock in. It will have a guide. This is a square pin that will keep that in place. Same thing here on the bottom. It would be a guide. But in order to print this head properly without supports, I would have to print it upside down. But of course this area here is rounded, so it's not going to hold itself in place. Okay, it will need supports to keep it from falling over. Again, I thought, oh well, let me go ahead and remove the helmet part here, print that separately. Okay, so in a sense I'm making a kit of parts. Nothing says you can't split the model up and create parts for a kit. I used to build kits when I was a kid. So anyway, you can see the details here. There's the numbers right here, OCP Police 001. So it's a good clean print. You can see there for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. So it was printed like this, okay? So the angle of all the parts that stick out are now in the upward direction, so no supports needed, as you can see. So it doesn't leave any artifacts to have to clean off. And also, we're going to go ahead and look at the torso right now as it's printing. Let's go over here and get everything in place. Alright, so there's the torso. Let's go ahead and get a little bit closer here. You can see all the details there are perfect. You can see the little grid right here on the chest piece right here. You can see all the little baubles and things printing nicely. All the little details here and here are perfect. I want to point out there's no wrap, alright, no brim, no messy ass glue stick, alright, because essentially the surface I'm printing on allows me to not to be able to have to do that. I don't want to be forced to have to use any of those things because it all has to be cleaned up later, okay? So this is how it's printing right now on a flat surface. This is known to be flat, and since that's the case, it doesn't need any electronic gizmo here, little gadget, to tram the bed to check for highs and lows, because there simply isn't any highs and lows to compensate for, alright? So once you have a bed that's known to be flat all the way around, you know, corner to corner, side to side, then the gizmo right here, the little electronic thing, is useless, alright? So you want to be able not to have to use that. So when you tram the bed, get a flat surface, use the paper feeler gauge. It's called a feeler gauge because that's what it is. You feel the distance between the nozzle and the print surface. This is a 6-inch by 2-inch piece of paper. That's what I use to tram. We're going to go ahead and go over here and look at the extruder. Check that out. You may notice that that's not a metal extruder. That is the original plastic extruder. And people say, oh geez, I don't want to have to deal with a broken lever and all that. I'll have to start the print all over. Well, most likely you're going to have other problems long before that. So simply keep the body of the original extruder. If the lever breaks, take like $5, 3 minutes, and replace it. Alright? That lever will never have been used. It would never be under stress because it's brand new in a bag. So replace it and print for another 3.5, 4 years. Alright? So if your problem is thinking that something's going to happen during the print and you wish you would have had the metal one, you're going to have many more problems with the metal one than you ever will with this one. Alright? So we have the white Bowden tube. That's the filament delivery. That's how the filament right here on the side, no arms or levers for guides to redirect it. It's mounted right there on the side through the extruder, alright, no added friction, goes through, the Bowden tube down to the hot end, which you can see for yourself, is basic. It's standard. There's no frills, no fan shrouds, no direct drive, because again, direct drive has its own issues that you don't want to deal with, or I don't want to deal with. So I thought, well, how do I have a printer that will deliver filament from here across here to the gantry while it's moving, okay, because that's what a Bowden tube does. It delivers filament to the hot end while it's heated right here at the bottom, and it's cooled right here in the center. This fan blows on the heat sink, keeping it cool all the way to the block. This is a heat block under here, okay? And again, don't take my word for any of this. You can see it happening right now. It's printing as you see it, all right? So I'm not hiding anything or any cover-up or whatever. You see it happening now. So we're going to also go down here to the springs. Check that out. Those are stock. Those aren't yellow springs or chunks of rubber, all right? Those work as they were intended to work if you use them properly. Sometimes users don't use them properly, and they say, oh, you got to replace them, blah, blah, blah. Your tramming is going to go all to hell. I don't know. I mean, I haven't had any problems with tramming at all because everything is proper. Everything is set up as it should be, all right? You have a flat surface all the way around, okay? It's been trammed properly, and in that case, check this out. There's no heat to the bed. That's the nozzles, 210, okay? That's average for PLA because it's good fusion. You need fusion and flow. Sometimes people print like 200 or below, and then you might get flow-ish, but you'll lose your fusion because the filament has to weld itself to the layer below. That's how it works. Check that out. What's the set point for the bed? Right there. 0. It's not heated. There's no heat to the bed. It's just simply not required. So you can see there's no raft, no brim, no messy ass glue stick to add and clean off and constant cleaning all the time. No curling. You can see it's not curling, you know, warping that people tend to have with a heated bed. All right. So anyway, just wanted to show this is the way it's printing right now. It's going on about 11 hours. This is about a 12-hour print. We've got plenty of room all the way up. And they say, well, you know, the gantry, you know, is going to hit here, way up here. Yeah, that's about a 7-inch print, you know, from the bed to the nozzle. Anyway, I don't print that large at all. So anyway, you'd be more worried about this right here hitting there first. Okay, even with the filament up here, okay, you still have to deal with this hitting this. And nobody ever brings that up, do they? All right, so we got the gantry, we got the hot end where it's supposed to be, we got the filament spool holder right here. It has all of this motion. I have to move it up and down. So anyway, so there you go. Just wanted to show you that it's printing perfectly as it was designed from the factory. No added anything. All right, so-called upgrades tend to be useless when this prints like this right now. I mean, this is the result right here. Okay, smooth. You can see it's clean. You can see all the details, all the little gizmos and greedleys all over. You can see it clean. And white PLA can be painted. All right, that's the best thing. Okay, happy printing.